morning, everyone. We're going to start the emergency board meeting. I will turn it over to Janice to do roll call.
President Davidson.
Here.
Vice President Massame.
Showtime of present.
Secretary Kincaid, present. Treasurer Hahn.
Present.
Director Hector.
Present.
Director McGraw.
Present.
Director Ricketts.
Present.
Director Setzer. Absent. We had a quorum.
Did you call Director Hahn?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I would call the meeting to order and stand for the pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we do the new business this morning, I just have an announcement to make. For those of you who know Sue Greenup at First Service, her husband passed away this morning. So would you please keep her and her family in your prayers and thoughts? Be very much appreciated. And Janice, I will therefore turn the meeting over to you for new business.
I'm going to make a motion as chairman of the insurance committee and with the consent and recommendation of the insurance committee members, I move that the Federation Board of Directors approve the proposed listing of insurance policies and coverage presented by USI for the upcoming fiscal year 2021-2022, initiating on April 15, 2021, with a financial commitment for the community of $4,003,159.62, plus the interest for financing that premium. Upon approval, the insurance package will be presented to the membership for approval on April 9th,
Is that the right amount?
2000.
That's the budgeted amount. That's not the actual.
Oops. I'm sorry, wrong amount. Let's go back. With the financial commitment for the community of $4,085,292.17. I had read the budgeted amount. I'm sorry. $4,085,292 and 17 cents.
Would you please mute your phones so other people can hear and you're not interrupting the call? You have a second to the motion?
Wait a minute. Upon approval of the insurance package, will be presented to the membership for approval on April 9th, 2021 at a special membership meeting.
Can I have a second to the motion?
Second.
And then we're going to have discussion.
USI, would you like to do your presentation on the $4,085,292.17? And you can sit at the table with your back to me if you dare. Oh my God.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adam Lopatin. I'm Senior Vice President with USI Insurance Services. We are your insurance advocate and professional. I just kind of wanted to give everybody a 100,000-foot view of what the program is made up of and how we got there and cost versus budget. So the insurance committee and the Federation Board have been working extremely hard the past 6 months with the entire marketplace to bid out your insurance and create internal competition in the marketplace to make sure the community has a bulk purchase of competitive, financially sound insurance program for the community, which will be effective April 15, 2021. The property insurance is going to renew with Heritage Insurance Company, which is the same insurance company that we moved to last year. It is an increase, but it is under budget compared to what we budgeted last year. The only change in that program will be that the deductible will be from $2,500 to $5,000 deductible, which is the same deductible we had under the AMCAPs. Everything else is exactly the same as you currently have, except the directors and officers policy. The directors and officers policy, I did get a lot of phone calls on this, and I just want to clarify this. The directors and officers policy currently is through Travelers Insurance Company. It is a $2 million limit of liability. That limit of liability is shared amongst all 114 entities, subject to a $20,000 deductible, and attorney's fees do erode that limit. Travelers non-renewed us due to claims activity. So we are replacing that coverage with a bulk purchase through Aspen Specialty. Every association now will have their own D&O policy. We are procuring it. There's no need for anybody to go out and get their own D&O policy. We are purchasing this on a bulk basis. It will be $1 million limit for each association, subject to the same deductible, $20,000, but defense costs will not erode the $1 million. So technically, you have much broader coverage than you had with Travelers, because now you have $114 million of coverage with defense costs outside the limit. But again, this is going to be purchased on a bulk basis by the Federation. So there's no need for anybody to go out to individually procure that. Overall, the budgeted was $4,003,000, and we budgeted that last year. Even with the Travelers non-renewing us, we're only 2% over budget, with no major changes in coverage.
Do you want to go through each policy, the limits? You have it in front of you, right?
Yeah, so Jack, the president, would like me to go over some of the DEBRIC policies. So the property policies through Heritage, it's $816 million in coverage. That again was both negotiated with Heritage. Based on current market conditions, we were very pleased with the final result. Aspen Specialty is a general liability carrier. It is a $1 million per occurrence, $2 million policy period.
Let me hold on. Would you folks please mute your phone? We don't need to hear your children. We don't need to hear your conversations. And you're causing other people not to be able to hear this call. So would you please mute your phones? We don't have the capability.
We don't have the capability.
We don't have the capability because Vesta is not here to mute the phones. And I don't know why people need to be rude and not mute their phone and carry on conversations and have other people in the background.
Can she get Ginger to mute him? She's gonna do it. Denny.
Denny, can you get them to mute their phones? Because people just don't seem to understand how to mute a phone.
Yes, working.
You could also just hang.
She's working on it.
We can.
You don't have to have the phone bridge.
*6 or
It is *6. It is *6 to mute your phone, or hit your mute button on your phone.
The little microphone is the mute button. Hello.
Microphone, yes.
You know, just hit the little microphone, take care of it.
Turn your volume down.
If you can't mute it, shut up.
They're not even listening.
You know, if they don't know how to mute a phone, then just close your mouth and stop talking.
It's like there's another group of people in I guarantee you hear that? How that
Oh, I believe it's a group of people that are sitting together.
Oh, over next door.
right here?
I'll pick it up.
Yeah, there,
Yes.
that's a microwave.
Yes, we'd hear them.
That was a microwave for sure.
How can we hear them? I don't know.
He's working.
They got the phone on.
about that. How you feeling?
Perfect.
You got to
Yeah, very blessed.
say it all over.
Yeah.
While we're waiting, you got a new one, we got old ones, these were old ones on our table.
No, they're not.
No. What's
Well,
the
Bill,
amount on yours?
The amounts are the same on both.
This was the actual amount.
We just
Okay,
checked the notes.
okay.
Yep,
I was looking at the wrong one.
okay, all good.
Hey, Dan.
Denny, they mute the phones?
It sounds like it. He said he was going to.
Sounds
Okay.
like it.
Go ahead and try again, Adam, it seems that we've muted the phones.
Did that do it?
Yep.
Yeah, something did.
Something did.
Way better
Your
than you.
phone went around.
All right,
Oh,
well,
no.
all right, I think we're gonna try to start from the beginning of going over the individual policies for the Federation. The property insurance makes up about 90% of the overall spend. The good news is Heritage, after going back and forth with them, we got them to agree to basically renew as is under budget. The only change, as I mentioned before, is the all peril deductible is going from $2,500 to $5,000, which is the same as we had when we were with AMCAP. The actual premium is actually slightly less than budgeted as well. Aspen Specialty is the general liability carrier. That is the second largest spend in the program. We're able to both purchase that and negotiate with them with the same coverages as before, and their premium was slightly over budget.
Back on the phone again.
The crime policy is through Hanover, and their premiums were actually slightly less than last year. The D&O policy, again, is the only major change. Travelers is non-renewing, and again, right now, we have a $2 million limit of liability that is shared between 114 associations, subject to a $20,000 deductible, and defense costs do erode that $2 million limit. Travelers non-renewed our account due to claims activity. We went out and bulk purchased and negotiate contracts with Aspen Specialty. Every association now is going to have their own standalone $1 million limit that is just for their association, not shared with anybody else, subject to the same deductible, $20,000, and defense costs do not erode the limit. So it's unlimited defense costs. We negotiate this on a bulk contract and a bulk purchase. There is no need for any association to go out and get D&O coverage. We did it, and it will be included in your monthly dues. The umbrella premium is due to tightening market. We did have a $50 million umbrella. We are going to a $25 million umbrella this year. The premium is less than we budgeted, and we feel confident that that limit will be enough, since now we are sitting on over individual D&O policies at $1 million limit instead of a shared $2 million limit under Travelers, and with defense costs eroding that limit. And then the cyber liability is the same as last year. It is slightly over budget. But again, overall, when these budgets were done, we didn't anticipate Travelers not renewing. Almost everything came in the same or less than budget except the D&O policy, and that did put us over budget slightly, only by 2%. So overall, again, based on the current market conditions, which are terrible, we are very pleased with the bulk negotiations and the coverage that we will achieve for the community.
Janice, let me ask you a question. As Adam explained, under the property that was increased from 2,500 to 5,000, the insurance fund covers everything except $500 of deductible. So although it did increase from 2,500 to 5,000, it would not impact the association because we would pay everything except the 500 out of the deductible fund. Is that correct?
Yes, and we have the money in there to do that.
Any discussion from the board?
Like the question.
No, I just like to make a comment, Adam, for clarification purpose. this is based on an extremely hard market compared to what it's been in past years.
So I've been doing this for 25 years. I insure over 600 condo associations from Tampa to Marco Island. I've never seen the marketplace this bad, ever. I've seen the marketplace, property marketplace harden after 93 and 04 and 05, and only the property marketplace rates were going up and the capacity was shrinking. But right now, we're in a perfect storm where every line of coverage, property, general liability, cyber, D&O, every line of coverage except workers' comp is in a hard market. Carriers are pulling out, rates are going up on average 25 to 30% on good accounts. So we are in a perfect storm. But again, I am very pleased with the results. We came in at almost budget, even though the marketplace got a lot worse since when we started budgeting. And we had to deal with a non-renewal from Travelers.
Thank you.
Let me ask you one other question. We have reviewed the years of 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. All of those were well over $4 million. Was that market soft at that time?
So no, so as Jack brought up, just want to clarify something. The premium that we ended up now is still less than the overall premium the Federation was paying previously. That market was not hard back then. It was a basically softening market. So even with a hard market, our overall premiums are less than or the same as we were paying previously.
So this would be in the last 2 years. Basically, we have continued to be able to keep cost well below what they were in previous years in 2012 through 2016.
That's correct.
Can you explain with the D&O, like right now, everybody's paying a certain amount in their association dues, starting April 1st, their new amount, which was their budgeted amount. And so, but because it's gone up so much, how is that going to affect the associations?
Can we ask Keith to answer that question?
Yes.
Can you go over to the, and repeat the question?
Thank you. Repeat the question.
Janice asked how the increase in the D&O policies would affect the association's budgets. Again, a budget is just a projected amount. Obviously, we project lots of the amounts on the budget. The slight overages averages out to be about $765 if it's just evenly distributed. But each association will just have to take that out of their cash surplus. Obviously, it's a technique that we have everybody build up a little surplus for these little incidents. And it's no different that if there was an extra expense that occurred during the year, if a place had a tent the building or had an extra roof repair they didn't anticipate. So it'll just be taken out of their surplus, and that D&O section of the budget will just be a little bit over.
You made a statement that it'll be averaged out, but aren't each association being billed their actual D&O policy
I
rate?
just said that's just the average if you took it evenly distributed, but it will be billed by the individual association based on their number of units.
The same way property and casualty is billed today.
Correct.
When should you have those figures calculated?
You didn't think you were done.
A week.
So we have the matrix almost complete now. We're going to let Alan review it early next week, and we'll have it over to Keith. Alan and Keith will go over to them Monday or Tuesday of next week.
And would you be able to send out then next week the individual increase that will be coming out of each association's general fund?
That's a yes.
Answer was yes.
Yes.
The answer was yes, he will. So each association by the end of next week will receive what their increase over what they had in their budget will be. Those funds will be pulled as payments are made from the general fund of their individual association. Is there anyone on the line who has a question? If so, unmute your phone and ask the question.
Actually, let me just make one more comment on that, on the budget amounts and what they might be over. This is again Alan Hahn, treasurer. Just one more comment about that. As you all go through the budget process, First Service and Debbie Lauber recommend that you have a cash balance to cover things that might come up, that you have at least a 1 month to 2 month cash balance in your accounts. The overage that we're talking about for the D&O coverage is a fraction of that. It should be a very small amount. So if you have maintained and have at least a 1 month balance in your accounts, you'll be well covered. There should be really a minimal impact to you.
Any question from anyone on the line?
Are they muted?
If you have a question, you can *6 and unmute your phone or push your unmute button.
I think Ginger had
Yeah, Ginger muted?
They can't. They can't.
They can't.
They can't. They can't have to call back. If they cannot *6, they have to hang up and call back.
If you have a question and your phone will not unmute, just hang up and call back, put in the code, and you can ask your question.
They did ask a lot of questions prior.
Yeah, I did receive a lot of questions prior to this.
We had a lot of questions that were individually answered.
Yeah, that were answered individually already.
Hearing no debate or additional comments, we've had a motion made and seconded. I will call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is passed, and the budget and insurance proposal will be sent to the membership for a special membership meeting on April 9th. That meeting will be held in the theater. As you know, before I close the meeting next Friday, which is the annual membership meeting, will be open and held in the Veterans Theater at 9:30.
Check in.
The presidents need to check in starting at 9 o'clock. And it is open to 40 additional non-presidents or representative of the association who will be the voting member. This will be our first in-person meeting in a year, and we look forward to being able to have individuals in person and us to go back to conducting our meetings in person, at least for the foreseeable future. The limit in the theater is 170 people. That's why we have 113 associations, plus the board, plus Vesta, plus First Service, plus Denny doing the videography of the meeting. That should not exceed the 170 people. The room will be set up with appropriate social distancing, and masks will be required to be worn at the meeting. With no other business,
Will the meeting, will they be proxies and also if
they
they're
can
not?
vote by proxy if they do not plan on attending the meeting, or they can vote in person.
And will it be broadcast if they're not able to be there?
And it will be on the phone, yes, there will be a call-in.
So they could vote over the phone?
No, they
Can't vote.
cannot vote over the
That's right,
phone.
proxy.
They're not gonna be there, they have to vote by proxy. They have all received the packages, to my understanding, that contains red lines and clean copies of the contracts which need to be discussed. Remember, after the end of that meeting, the new board members, and the new board will hold an organizational meeting directly following the membership meeting, and that is organizational meeting is open to all who were originally in attendance. You will need to check in just for presidents who plan on attending. The check-in will no longer be in the front of the room, the check-in will be at the door as you enter the room. So if it starts to line up, please try and keep 6 feet of social distancing in line as you check in. If you send in a proxy and then you determine to attend the meeting in person, you may either leave your proxy as your vote and your attendance, or you may withdraw your proxy at that time, and the proxies will be up front where the check-in is made. And with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting is adjourned.